no cars were going to be able to get in. They want to do traffic control. But what that did was, and I understand the Rangers' position, I understand PD's position, but what that did was that caused a big inconvenience for the locals adjacent to the park and around surrounding areas. So that's not something that we can have on our shoulders. All of us here are either business owners or have been with the same company for 15, 20 years. We're all family men. And, you have to be able, if we teach our kids anything, you have to have a responsible party. And so it was important for us to get together and say, well, how do we deal with this? Well, knowing what Ranger Jordan told me, I personally reached out to Christina, and I wanted to make sure she had a contact. And that developed into a long, lengthy conversation on what could we do as lowriders to change the stigma or the persona of, this thuggish, ruggish attitude that a lot of lowriders get. If you see some of our cars have close to $100,000 in them. You can tell the difference by most lowriders buy the car and then buy the insignia that's in the back window. We're one of the ones, or some of the ones, that actually care about you guys, care about the community in which we lowride, because our goal isn't to disrupt traffic and cause chaos. We're no different from the Harley-Davidson owners. Not from a biker gang, just from an organized fraternity. So we felt it was unfair that when people come out into the Panhandle or the College Green areas and they have their events, they're not permitted, and they leave this big mess, or there's a complaint about people doing burnouts and smoking of the tires, that gives us a bad look. Right here in the middle, I have my 3 daughters. I'm trying to be the best role model I can. And my wife and I have been married 20 years. So it's unfair for me and for my kids when we come out on a regular Saturday or Sunday to picnic with our little Frenchie, and we now see the trash that's being left behind. So the conversation with Christina led to, what more could we do to be proactive in the Land Park community? And she says, how about you come out and meet our volunteer corps? So let's do it. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to make sure that we play a huge part, not a small part, a huge part in the cleanup and makeup of Land Park, because we are going to come through the park. I think it was Art, one of the volunteers, that said there's a gentleman that comes to this park quite frequently on a red Harley, and late hours of the night, early morning, music blaring, and nobody here in Land Park likes him. I wouldn't like him. And I live in Elk Grove, off the I-5 in Elk Grove, Boulevard, quiet neighborhood. I don't want to deal with it. But if you guys have someone that you can talk to, or at least Christina knows what needs to be targeted, she now has a group of guys that she can call and say, hey, can you find out who this is? Although we still haven't been able to find them, we are working on it. So we did want to take some questions tonight because we are concerned about your concerns. But for the most part, again, the goal is to just change the stigma and rewrite the narrative. Lowriding started as a poor man's sport, and it started with all the negatives. But now today, it is a family sport, a family lifestyle, and it is one of the most expensive car cultures in the world. So, and as you can see, there's many different nationalities. So that's why I felt it was important that we get out here and speak with you guys today, give you guys the avenue to ask the tough questions. Maybe we can't answer them all, but if we know what those questions are, we can now take that back to the other 37 car clubs that are out there, and we can start with them. That'll be our nucleus. We'll start with them. These are some of the concerns of the area in which we ride, and let's figure out a starting point and what we can do to help address some of the situations. So I'll let one of my brothers here speak, and we'll take some questions.
If anybody has any questions, raise your hands.
Okay, we're ready.
I think they're doing
We got one.
Well, I think they're
She asked if we had questions. Is it
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I want to say, when we go out and we see you guys out there with your families and everything, we think that's fantastic.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so I really appreciate, those of you who come out like that. We do live right on the park, and the problem we have with some of the groups, and it is the cars, not necessarily you guys, is the people who have their bases turned way up. Because what happens is it makes every window in our house rattle, and you can hear it in any part of the house. So that's my only that's my only question. So I don't know what the answer is about that, but that's what our issue is.
You know what it is? It's just addressing a concern. That's the issue that you have. Now that you have someone to talk to, we can go back and say, hey, we sat down, the residents of this community. And this is something that we should think about when you're coming in off of Riverside. Turn it down a little bit. One of the biggest complaints that, and Christina and I, we've actually shared videos back and forth, where, and I'll be honest, I actually feel sorry for some of the people who live adjacent to the Panhandle, because some of the videos have loud music all day. Sunday, people have to go to work Monday, but then the complaint about marijuana all through there. I don't smoke, don't care to, but it's annoying. How we address that, I don't know. But if someone can speak on your behalf about that, then maybe it'll kind of, okay, detour that. And what's been happening is, just so you guys know, we've been trying our best. This is car clubs. We're not from any particular group. This is local car clubs that actually care about responsibility. What we've been doing is working with Chris, and we've been kind of pushing the lowriders out towards the College Greens. Is that what it is? College Greens area?
The Village Green.
Village Greens area. Primarily because Freeport is already a main thoroughfare, and the music probably just blend in with the traffic. But it's away from all the homes. So for the guys that are out there smoking, it's something that wouldn't affect our senior residents there. And it is a concern. So we've been trying that. I think we may have been a little successful. It remains to be seen. But just know that you do have somebody who's advocating for you now, because we care. It's not something I want to deal with. And again, my family and I, we do come here on the weekends to just picnic and spend time. And I don't care to smell it, and I don't really want to hear it. When I come Upland Drive, I have one thing on my mind: serenity. That's it. I'm not here to lowride. I'm here to be the best father I can be. We finally got some time on the weekend, and we got a rambunctious Frenchie that if she gets away, we got to chase. So, I'm going to advocate for you guys because I feel like that's my duty. But also, again, just trying to be a good father and be a good role model, because you have to take responsibilities in the area in which you reside. Ma'am, you had a question?
Oh, no, a question. I wanted to thank you for coming out to the Lamb Park Volunteer Park Work Day. It's not a cleanup day, but I would like to ask your people to sign in. I'm generally the sign-in person, because that way you get assigned to teams of where they planned ahead of time what projects need. And if we have a whole bunch of volunteers that don't end up signing in to be assigned to these teams, we don't get those jobs done, and we may get all the trash raked up. But yeah, and I would like to encourage you to wear like t-shirts or something that identify you as a group, like a lot of the groups do that come, and that would be so cool, because it would, they'd see the people out really working, and it says, car club on the back.
Right.
But thanks for coming out, and sign in with me.
So two things. Some of the guys, I think they were like, we're really going to work. Yeah, we said volunteer. I mean, you're not going to stand up and hold a bush. I mean, we're really going to get out here and work. So I don't know why maybe some of the guys didn't sign in. I know my wife made sure I signed in. She's not a part of the car club, but if she's going to hold me to the standard, so we're gonna definitely clean up. I will say this: it is an honor and it's a blessing to be able to get out here and to assist. One of the main conversations that Chris and I were having is, who's next? Once the people that are volunteering now, once they can no longer do it, who's that next group that's going to step up? And I'm volunteering the lowriders, because if you're not going to step up and do that, then what are you going to do to be proactive in your community? So that's one of the main things for us. In regards to the shirts, again, there's been a stigma for a long time. We're comfortable in our element when we're together, but there's always been a time or a place where you would go with your car club gear on. Maybe you didn't feel so welcome. But I'll tell you this much: that day, everyone felt welcome after the fact, because they were unsure. I'll tell you right now, some guys thought they were just going to come and maybe hold a broom, and no, there was physical labor. I'll tell you this much: where's my area? I think my area was here. We should have got an award that day, because right there behind the little gardens where the little river thing is, I think you cleaned out the little water statue thing, and man, that water got to flowing. I said, oh yeah, we need an award. His member, Shalveen's member, they were on the corner doing a great job by the Lamb Park sign, and there's a video of him doing a dance. We couldn't figure out what the dance was. Well, we found out that the minute he stepped on to that little dirt area, he stepped onto a huge red ant colony, and they were all over him. And I've never seen anybody dance like that. If there was a contest, I guarantee he was going home the winner. Like, Sylvester Stallone had nothing on him. But again, we are serious about what we say, and we want you guys to hold us to that. I do hope that this is the first of many meetings. And if you do have questions and there is something that you see that you dislike, is there something that, maybe you would propose? Chris will be your contact, and she can contact myself and the fellas directly. One thing that we are talking about is our picnic on New Year's Day. It is a unity event. This is the one time a year where there's no money spent to come and enjoy yourself. How many people didn't make it to the first of the year? So this is a tradition of our car club in Southern California for 27 years. This will now be our 6th one. And so we try to create unity whenever we can. And that doesn't mean we're just lowriders. I'm gonna brush my shoulder on this one because there was actually KCRA 13, I think they came out. And I saw my car on the news. Thought it was pretty cool that they chose my car. But I think what was better about it is in the background there was a family, a local family from here in Land Park, and they frequent the park every New Year's Day. Same dog, same kids, same strollers, same hats. But it was nice because you see that, and that doesn't get any recognition. It's not just lowriders. The locals are actually frequenting the park. And yes, I know there's some issues where the locks got cut off the gate. I can't help it. We have a great picnic. But we're going to be the responsible party. So when that does happen, that's no excuse for that to happen. But you guys have someone who is your avenue now. You can reach out to, voice your concerns, offer your opinions. If there's anything that we can do to make it better, we will. You could tell us we don't want you here, and we'll respect your position. But ultimately, we just want you guys to know that you have someone that you can talk to, and we'll do the best that we can to try to get things done to keep this environment safe, because we don't just frequent it when it comes to lowriding. We actually do it as fathers and family.
PRC, do you want to talk about Raza Day? This weekend, right? Is Raza Day?
This weekend?
Yeah, May 29th.
Oh, yeah, the Brown Issues. I'm sorry. Yeah. So this weekend, Brown Issues is an organization that helps out college kids. They're a political group, political activist group. Very positive though. They're not your politicians. They don't care if you're right or left. They just want to do what they can to help the less fortunate, regardless of what nationality you are. So this weekend they have a permitted event. They did it the right way. They have a permitted event here, and we encourage everyone to come out. What's happening is they're actually giving away 2 scholarships to 2 kids here in local Sacramento from a less fortunate area community. And so feel free to come out and attend. Again, this event is just about empowerment. It's about family. It's about encouraging one another to not be afraid of the guy with the big mustache or the guy with the bald head. I mean, like I said, literally, a lot of us, we're all the same. We may come from different areas, but we're all the same. And a lot of these guys, they get frowned upon because they look a certain way or drive a certain car. But I'm here to tell you, there's groups out here that really care about the community, and Brown Issues is one of them. So please come on down. It's free, a free event, of course. Make yourself at home. And again, it's a family event. So, and what side of the park? That was going to be?
It's going to be at the Village Green.
That's the south
Yeah.
area.
That area.
I'm not used to that. Chris just pushed us out there recently, so I'm still getting, I was a panhandle guy. There was something that I wanted to bring up, and
Is there a charge for that?
no, it's free. It's free.
Land Park Volunteer Corps, Brown Issues, Raza Day.
Oh, I just want to bring this little tidbit. For the most of us, we get together, car clubs. There's 41, 42 actual car clubs. This gentleman here, upstanding elder, I don't mean that in a bad way. Upstanding elder when it comes down to Sacramento low riding. He, along with this gentleman here, born and raised here, and they do so many goodwill efforts, feeding the homeless. This man gives free haircuts at his barbershop. And we want to extend that to different areas in which we low ride. But what we do is we get together several times a year and we have a meeting. So we talked about New Year's Day and what could we do a little bit different to take the slack and the pressure off PD, to take it off the Rangers. The Rangers are awesome, I'll tell you that much. They won't accept any food from us because, you know, it's maybe because of COVID, but we do our best to try to feed them. We try to make the job easy. But one thing we wanted to do this year, we're pushing to have New Year's Day permitted, but we want to do something for the community. One thing that we've gotten over the past 5 years is there aren't very many elders who can actually get out and enjoy some of the cars. And maybe they don't want to see some of the cars in the 80s, but I know they want to see a car like mine, a 1964 Impala that was just at the Cal Auto Museum, that pink one, you know, that one that was on the news. There's a lot of classic cars that they would like to see. But we know it's hard for them to frequent the park, especially on New Year's Day. So what we're thinking about doing, and if everything goes well, we want to be able to provide not only a picnic, but a New Year's Day parade for the Land Park residents. So we're currently working on it to sit down with, obviously with Chris, the Rangers, and figure out a way how we could do this to where it's comfortable and it's easy. And for the residents who can't come out, we'll exit north because those are the majority of the homes. So when we exit north, if we gave everybody enough time to pre-plan, and you can get your chairs out there at 3 o'clock, you'll know by 4:30 that here come the lowriders. And obviously we want to keep it safe, but we have residents here that just aren't able. So what if we can provide that to them? And again, the majority are just content with seeing a nice classic car. So hopefully I'll be leading that lineup. But again, we are trying to be very proactive. And again, we thank you guys for coming out. Any questions, feel free to talk to Chris, and she'll get it to me. And again, whatever your concerns are, we're here to answer them. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, RC. All right. Okay, guys, so now we
Hey,
are
good job,
going
Gabe.
to have Mario Laura, the Director of Youth Parks and Community Engagement, right? And the Park Rangers, huge group coming up, going to tell us what's going on with them, and if you have any questions, and you'll get to ask soon.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Mario Lara. I'm the Director of Youth Parks and Community Enrichment Department. I'm going to ask the Park Ranger Supervisors and our maintenance team to come up so I can introduce them. Before I do that, I'll talk generally about what our department does, and then I'll turn it over to our Park Maintenance Manager to talk about issues pertaining to this park in terms of maintenance, and to the Rangers to talk to you about some issues specific to this park. Our department is fairly large, and we provide a broad range of programs and services. It was such a good conversation that was happening right before here, talking about the community building and that community enrichment aspect of it. I think this is part of it. Love to hear that we're working with the lowriders now in a new effort to get events permitted and working with the community to get those things smooth. So our department does that. Does all of the permitting for special events across the city, in parks and out of parks. We're also responsible for delivering programs for youth, adults of all abilities. So we have a youth division that does that, a lot of workforce development for youth, a lot of opportunities for youth. We have summer Oasis programs coming up here in the summer, different things of that nature that our department delivers. Our community enrichment division does all of our community center programming, our senior center programming, or aquatics programming, and all of that types of services. And our parks planning division, who are not here today, do all of the capital improvement projects and work development. We work very closely with community to get their input and to figure out what projects are important to move forward and get those executed and get those delivered. And obviously we have our maintenance division, our park rangers division here, who will talk a little bit about what they do as well. Parks touches on almost every issue facing the community, right? Whether it's homeless issues or climate change issues or youth workforce development issues or security issues, you name it, Parks plays a role in all of that, and we can't do it alone. I love to hear all of the work that volunteerism and volunteers are doing in the community, because absolutely it's definitely true that we need that partnership. We need to do that. We need those volunteer hours. We need to work with you and collaborate with you as the community members. I know we have a very active and engaged commission, and I know the chair of the commission will speak later on today, but it's part we're part of a network that helps to deliver all of those programs and services. With that, I'll turn it over first to our Parks Maintenance Manager to talk to you a little bit about the maintenance issues here, and then we'll turn it over to the Park Rangers.
Good evening. My name is Sean Ellsworth. I am the new Parks Maintenance Manager. I've been with the city a total of 5 months. 5 months and 10 days, so I'm brand new to the position. Same with Joey here. Joey is the area superintendent, specifically with responsibility for Land Park. I myself personally have responsibility for Land Park and the other 224 parks in the system across the city of Sacramento. Coming new to the Sacramento area, I just want to say it's an impressive regional park system that we have here. Land Park is definitely the cornerstone of all of the parks within the city, and it's been a tremendous pleasure to see how each of you is deeply involved in it with the volunteer corps and everything like that. It's an impressive thing to see coming from another community. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you for all of your help, all of your volunteer efforts, and a lot of the communication that comes my way. It really helps me focus and work with Joey on some of the real critical issues that we are just now kind of learning as we get baptized into the area here and into the challenges that Land Park has. We've just taken a very keen interest in partnering with our park ranger staff to look at some of the concerns as they affect both of our departments. And we are looking very carefully at a lot of the maintenance issues here to look at ways that we can improve it. My goal personally is to have an incremental improvement philosophy where every year we get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Yeah, and again, funding always seems to be the issue, but with our goal, of having the spirit of doing this as a customer service initiative to help bring the park up a little bit every year as we continue forward and through my career here. I want to give it the microphone to Joey here. Joey has done a tremendous job in taking on some very unique initiatives here. And he's actually has some updates on traffic that he's been working on with the park rangers. And also some of the maintenance issues that he has been tackling here. So, Joey? Yep.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Joey Zakopny. I'm the new park maintenance superintendent down here with Land Park. So a couple of things that Sean was bringing up. So for traffic-wise, we will be adding additional signage on the loop, which is 18th Street. Just a little background about myself. I moved here from Southern California, so I'm still learning the area. This is a fantastic area, like Sean was saying. Land Park is one of the cornerstone parks in our department. But on 18th Street, we will be adding a couple more one-way signs, do not enter signs to hopefully promote the one way of travel on that loop road. We will also be adding some additional arrows on the ground as well. So every time you drive into that loop, you'll see the arrows. Also on the street behind us, which I believe is 14th Street? Avenue. We will be adding a temporary radar trailer to see if that will assist with the speeding. Potentially, if people see how they're speeding, they'll slow down. That's something we're working with with our streets department as a temporary. If it comes back that it's a good solution, maybe we'll think of doing something more permanent in the long run. Let's see what else we're doing. With the irrigation, I know that was touched on earlier in this meeting. We are looking at what's called centralizing our irrigation system, which means all of our irrigation will be viewable on a computer system. And we will be able to hopefully save a lot of water and also keep our turf green. Because that is, of course, one of the basics for a park. Besides that, behind me, we have our duck pond. And we are working with our contractor right now to remove a little more of the lotus in there, just to keep a good balance between the plant material in there versus the open water space for the ducks. Other than that, that's all I have for today. I want to turn it over to our park rangers.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Danielle Luther. I am one of your 2 park ranger supervisors. I supervise your Sunday through Wednesday team. So for our busy Sundays, that's usually my folks that you will see out and about. So just to start out, I know a lot of you folks we've met virtually, so it's very nice to put faces with names and actually get back out here and spend some time with you. So just a very brief overview of our unit. We are the law enforcement branch of the Department of Youth Parks and Community Enrichment. So we are the folks that are responsible for making sure that all of our park rules and regulations, as well as state and federal regulations, are being followed within our parks and parkland. Our unit currently is staffed at 9 park rangers, 2 assistant park rangers, which are our equivalent of the police department's community service officers, and then myself and Robert Conroy as your park ranger supervisors. As I stated previously, our teams are split into 2. So we have at any given time 2 to 4 park rangers who are servicing our entire city of Sacramento, which is about 230 developed parks, and I think we're right at about 4,000 acres of land. So the numbers are definitely not skewed in our favor. We have a lot of area to cover, and it's a pretty significant burden for our staff. So I know there were some questions as far as seeing park rangers out and about in the park. So if you are not seeing us on a more frequent basis, that's technically a good thing. We are very complaint driven, very reactive as opposed to proactive, unfortunately, just with the numbers being what they are. So we are typically spending our time addressing serious criminal concerns, obviously, permit disputes, things of that nature. To balance out our fairly new staff here, Robert and I have been a part of the city of Sacramento for quite some time. I've been with the city for about 22 years. Prior to working for the Parks Department, I was with the Police Department as a community service officer, and I also sit on our special event review board. So I'm looking forward to working with our car clubs to hopefully get some permitted planned events scheduled here in the very near future. If you folks have any questions about permitted events, please feel free to send them my way as well. I'll give you as much information on those to the best of my abilities. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robert. Robert's going to provide some of our statistic updates for some of the things that have been going on in and around the neighborhood.
Hello, my name is Robert Conroy. Again, like Danielle said, I'm the other supervisor. I supervise Wednesday through Saturday, and that's the side of the team I'm dealing with. So just to give you some general ideas, by the way, someone in the back, I'm not used to a mic, so if I'm missing my cue or something like that, just raise your hand up. I'll know to bring it closer. So just to give you some general ideas. So I'm going to actually give you last year's stats for this area. So last year, so 2021, the Rangers had 333 calls for service here. Now the calls for service could vary from 311, from the police department, from other city employees like our maintenance or you, the citizen, emails, and then also just being proactive as well, trying to spend as much time as we can in this park. Sometimes, if it's a rainy day, we can drive through